This is how to play With or Without You by U2. We're going to look at how to play this on acoustic guitar with 4 chords throughout the whole song. And the fairly easy 4 chords as well. We can do it with and without a bar chord, so we've got options for everyone. And we're also going to look at how to play the lead guitar part, which is famously played by the Edge with electric guitar and a delay pedal and stuff. So click the links in the description for any quick links to jump to any sections. But let's get straight in for a close-up. With or Without You by U2. What a wonderful song. We have the same 4 chords throughout this entire song, and I'm going to be showing you some of the lead bits, first of all on acoustic and then on electric, and having a bit of a delay sort of edge guitar lesson, I guess. The 4 chords we have in this entire song are D major, played with fingers 1, 2 and 3, and strumming from string 4. So if we hit string 5 as well, accidentally, it sounds totally fine as well. But it's important to know that root note, the bass note of our chord, is the D on string 4. The next chord we're going to go for is an A, and we can play it in this fashion in accordance with my beginner's course and how many beginner's lessons are taught, or 3 in a line is totally fine, or even with fingers 2, 3 and 4 like this. Any way of playing the A major chord is totally fine. It's the chord after this that can give many people problems. It's a B minor chord, and we can play this with the bar chord if you're wanting to work on bar chords. Or we can play the easiest style which Ed Sheeran and many other people play, which is like this, with fingers 1, 2 and 3. And we just play the middle 4 strings. We can play the thinnest string and just keep it open. But it does sound better if we try and avoid it or put the little finger on it to mute. That's just a slightly easier option, and then it's a really easy change to the G chord afterwards, which is the final chord. And each of these chords needs to be played for 1 bar, which would sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, B minor, 2, 3, then a G, 2, 3, 4. With or without you. Okay? With the bar chord, when we're changing from the A major chord to the B minor bar chord, it's so much easier to play the A major as a bar itself. So with fingers 2, 3 and 4, like this. And we can do that by having a bit of an angle with the first finger, and then actually all strings ringing out. And then it's a much easier change to that bar chord. So a demonstration. I can live with or without you. Much easier. And with the strumming, obviously there's no real acoustic guitar part until the end of the song, which is what we'll be covering, but we're gonna go for down, down, up, down, up, down. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 per chord. Makes it for a slightly easier change and also keeps it interesting. So as a quick demo, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 down. If you accidentally hit another up, down, up, and you can do it, it's fine. I just don't encourage that for people who are struggling trying to get to that first chord. So with the easier way of doing it with the chords, down, down, up, down, up, down. Again, the bar. that going throughout the whole song. You could strum louder, you could strum quieter, but that in essence is what it's doing. Apart from, it changes after the those little high parts at the end, which I can't do, of course. We have this little cool little D to D sus 2, D to D sus 4. Sounds really cool. So this is right towards the end of the song. You know, we're talking 4 minutes or so into the song. And we go from a D major to a D without the middle finger on, and we need that one to ring out. Can't be more comfortable to do it with the thumb over the top, like that. So that middle finger is not down. Then it goes back down, and the little finger then is added on for the D sus 4. And what's happening is we play each chord 4 times. We strum each chord 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. But that thinnest string holds the melody. And all we really want to do is play the thinnest 3 strings, but we need to do this at its most basic. We still need to do this with an up strum, because this is on the off beat. A 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 you really have to listen to the song and sort of count the drums and count the beat to really understand what's happening there, to really get it. So as I say, we can count it here: 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But without something telling us where the beat is, it always sounds like 1, 2, 3. It sounds like that is the count, that is the beat. So what we can do to offset that a little bit, especially if you're just doing a version on your own, just with one acoustic guitar, is to play the root note of the chord, or at the very least the thicker strings of the chord, on the beat, and then just do ups after that, or even do it every beat. You can have a little play around. What I did a second ago was... So, thicker strings, up, thicker strings, thicker, up, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, and 4 and. So basically playing the thicker strings or the root note on beat 1 and beat 4, just to give it a sense of where the beat is so that we can hear these are on the offbeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Perfect. Now let's cut to an older video that I did where I did teach this song with a delay pedal and showing you how to do all that kind of thing. So the main riff, which kicks in after about a minute of this song, will need your first finger at 8th fret of string 2 and your third finger on 10th fret of string 1, and both of those are held down together and we pick each note alternate. And we're going to pick that 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I just play that first note, and then you'll be able to hear the delay, because if we have one note ringing out, you can hear it a little bit, but you'll actually only really hear delay or reverb if you play one really short sound. Now you can hear it really clearly. I'll be able to play it now without the delay, and now with again. And it's kind of like shouting echo down a tunnel. Echo, echo, echo. It is very much an echo delay where you'll be able to hear the exact same thing that you've just played repeated again. If it's chord, there's a chord, there's another chord, and you can get some really good rhythms with it, which is how the Edge composes his Lead lines and most of his guitar lines really have this delay on them. If the delay time isn't set right and the settings aren't right on your delay, it won't quite sound like this. So as I say, check out my website to see the exact settings that I've used to get this delay, and there's a bit of a write-up on it there as well. But to play it, we'll need those first 6 notes, so holding down both of these notes. Played 6 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we move your first finger down to 7th fret. And that's most of the riff. Now if I play it too slow, the delay doesn't quite create the same effect, so it doesn't quite sound right. So I'm going to play it dead slow a couple of times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see what's happening, but it's only when we play it up to speed or something like that it starts to sound like the original. With your right hand, we want to be resting on the thicker strings or just above your guitar here and moving from the wrist with as small a motion as possible. Gripping our pick in the correct way like this, of course. I have seen quite a few tabs for this one where they'll play this note kind of twice, so this riff. Listening carefully to the original record, that only happens possibly on the first time, and it does vary with this riff slightly, but that version is very rarely played. Live versions I haven't checked out as much, so it might happen more in the live version. That one would be, if you prefer the sound of it though, that basically. The second time that you play that second note, we hit it with 2 up strums, and then the rest of the riff is the same. So the first one that I believe, in my honest opinion, just from listening and referencing the original that he plays, is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, finishing on 7th fret. And then we've got this extra little flourish which you can have a play about with if you wish. Both of those are tabbed out on the website. And after that section, we have the open D string to the open G string. Now I think this was one of the first riffs that I learnt personally that mixed something high up the fretboard, 8th and 10th fret, with an open string. And this is done an awful lot more the higher level you get on guitar, and it's quite easy to do. There's nothing difficult because your fretting hand isn't moving around all over the place. It's only difficult for your picking hand. So let me demo this in context, a little bit slower than the original. 2, 3. As we play these open strings, this note, we relax that first finger and move it to the next point and set up your third finger. So we set up for this next position while we're hitting those open 2 strings basically, and that's how we can get it to sound really smooth without any pauses or anything. Take quite a lot of listening to the original and joining in, trying to play along to it to figure out where that riff happens. It is a little bit trickier, but that part, there aren't really any chords in this song. It is just the bass line. That repeats throughout the entire song, and then this lead part. The only other discernible part, apart from just a couple of variations of that original riff, comes right at the end of the song, after the woes. After all that bit, when the song's pretty much done, the Edge plays this little section. And that is a D major strummed 4 times to a D sus2, so we lift off our middle finger. Back to a D major. Little finger goes down then to play a D sus4. And there's a great video on my website that I've embedded on there of the Edge talking through this riff and demoing it himself, so that's a great one to check out. But all of these are on the offbeat, so it's a little bit trickier than just playing strumming on the beat. So for an example, with a count, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 3, But essentially that's it. Very simple ingredients, but it's the definitive part of U2's sound. It's almost when you hear it on record, because of that delay, because of the echo on the guitar, you can imagine it in stadiums and arenas, and that's where U2 ended up very quickly when they started using this distinctive sound. So good to know. And that's the end of this lesson, basically. If you want any more U2 songs, please request them below. Leave a message in the comments for me. Let me know the songs that you want to learn. Make your requests.